course management is probably one of the most overlooked aspects of golf that there is. If you don't play chess on the course and you don't think 2 steps ahead, well, you're gonna get burned. And trust me, if you actually learn how to do a proper course management, your scores could actually go from 90 to 80 very, very quick. So in this video, I will explain everything how to do. That's why I have a whiteboard right here, which I will draw a hole. Then essentially I will show you to get a more visual look on how the course management actually goes and how a pro as myself actually does this. So let's go. So let's start off and let's just draw a, well, first of all, we need tee boxes, right? So essentially these are a few tee boxes that course have. So essentially we're gonna do a simple we're gonna do a par 4. Let's say it's 400 meters, so it's gonna be easier for you guys so you can visualize here. So essentially how we're gonna do, let's say we got like this, and then we got opening, and then it goes to right here, right? And then from here we go like here, and then it kind of opens up, and then it closes up, and that's right here. Okay, and this is going to be, let's say, a green. And the pin position, right, we're gonna do pin position later. Okay, so we got the base down. So this is, this is fairway, and now we essentially have bunker. So we got one bunker right here, boom, so B for bunker, and we have another bunker, let's say right here. All right, we got 2 bunkers right here. Now we got water on the left side, so essentially this, all of this is going to be water, right? So this is H2O, right? H2O, H2O, right? So this is a whole hole, and then on the right side we got a semi-rough, which is not that big. In this case, it's it's normal. So this is kind of a free zone where you can essentially miss. Now, if you were a beginner, you would go to hole and then you would immediately say, okay, there's an H2O here. Okay, you wouldn't even think. You would take the driver out. You wouldn't even measure how much is to the first bunker, how much to the water. You wouldn't measure anything. I understand that if you're a beginner or a solid amateur, then you might not have your golf game good enough to actually do these things, but just a little bit of thought can change the trajectory of your whole game. So essentially, if you're an amateur, let's say, we play from, I play from blacks. Essentially, from blacks to the bunker, I'm gonna measure and I'm gonna say, okay, so from here to the first bunker, which is right here, we got, let's say, so 400 meters, so it's we got 260, right? So essentially we got 260 meters to the front of the bunker, and essentially to the back of the bunker right here, we got 280. So you got a scope, you measure this, and you say, okay, how much do I hit driver? So essentially my driver goes 270 meters carry, right? So we got carry. Let's say 2 iron goes 230 carry, and so on and so forth. Now these are the distances that you can measure in. And essentially I'm gonna do a 3 iron, which I don't know how much goes, 210. Essentially my 3 iron goes to 10 meters carry. So this is kind of just a visualization how much I hit the ball and how I would play it. So the first thing when you step on the hole, you have to say, okay, the first thing that you do when you approach the tee box is you have to check out for these things. First of all, we got water. Okay, water. You have to make sure that you don't go towards the water. Second thing, we got OB, which is out of bounds, right? You all know what out of bounds is. You hit in whatever OB, or essentially what do we have? We have biotop, and then we got big rough. So big rough. So these 3 things are the most simple things. Oh no, sorry, my bad. 4th thing, we got bunker. Okay, so these are kind of the general idea of what you have to avoid. Okay, avoid this at all costs. So now if you look at the hole, you say, okay, where do we have the things that we want to avoid? First, we got the bunkers, and second, we got the water. So just from this aspect, we don't want to be on the left side. We want to go on the right side. And now we know that the rough on the right side is not big rough, it's small rough. So even if we are inside of the rough, we can still play. Now, how would I approach this? If I would say, okay, we got 260 to the first bunker. So we got here, we got 265, and the end of this is like, what, 350, I guess. So we got 350 at the end, right? So now we say, okay, we got the water on the left, so we don't want to be left, but we can be right. So it's 280 over that bunker. Now you can say, okay, can I hit driver over? So if I had the wind from the back, right? If I had wind going 30 kilometers per hour, I could essentially hit my driver over here, so this distance right here, and I would go over the bunker, right? And I would miss the water totally. But if I would go to play before, right? So 260, now I could go back and I could say, okay, I'm gonna play 2-iron. So essentially you play 2-iron in this zone right here. Now, is this safe? Let me know down in the comments if this is safe, right? And you have to know your tendencies as well. My tendencies are push, a fade, or a pull, right? So these are kind of my shots. I rarely hit a hook, right? So in this case, you know, the water is already outside. But this is a 2-iron play. Now, if I hit 2-iron 230, right? Let's say I hit the 2-iron right here, and I hit the ball, 240 meters, which means the flag, let's say the flag is right here. The flag is right here. So I hit the ball 240, which means you have to take 2 steps forward, right? You don't want to just look at, how you're gonna play the first shot. You say, okay, if I play the first shot, how is my second shot going to be? So if we got the flag on the right, you say, okay, if I'm right and I have 130 meters and essentially, the green is flat, then okay, I can stop the ball. And then we go even further. And then you have to know what kind of greens are. Are the greens fast or slow? If you know the greens are slow, which means anywhere you are, you can control the ball. And then you have to break this down a little bit more. You have to say, okay, are the greens breaking, right? I know we're going into detailed stuff. So if this was right here, if this was a flat surface, a flat green, right? I would say, okay, it's a flat green, doesn't really matter what I am. Good. We got this done, so we know we could essentially be on the right side and still stop the ball on the right, okay? So in this case, we don't have the wind from the back, right? We don't have the wind from the back. You say, okay, if I hit straight, I'm probably gonna be in this bunker or this bunker, so it's not really a good idea. So you take 2-iron and you hit the ball right here, and then essentially you got 160 to the flag. So for me, I would hit an 8-iron, so this would kind of be a safe zone if this was a hard hole. But yeah, this is how you essentially would play. Now, for a beginner, if you hit the ball, let's say you hit the driver, what, 210 meters, right? You hit the driver 210 meters, and then you have the hybrid, which goes 170, and then you got like a 4-iron that essentially goes 140. Pardon my, I don't know how much you guys hit, but essentially, just for example, so if you driver 210, you would say, okay, so 210 is probably right here, okay? This is 210 mark. Boom. This is 210 mark. And what you have to do is, if you're a beginner, just avoid water. We don't want to be left, so we're not going to be aiming in this vicinity. We want to be aiming right. It doesn't matter if the fairway is straight. You don't need to be on the fairway every single time. You can bridge the ball right. It doesn't matter. Right? You're still going to be in play. Because when you hit in the water, when you hit the out of bounds, you lose shots. If you hit in the rough, you don't lose shots. You might have a harder shot towards the green, but you're definitely not losing shots. And this is what you have to avoid when you start playing golf. And, if you're someone who goes left and right, you have to know that, you have to avoid these things right here. Water, OB, biotop, big rough, and bunker. And once you avoid this, your whole game could, change. Imagine if you got, you're playing on a course and essentially, every time you hit 3 times in the water. What if you just don't hit 3 times in the water? You probably save 4 or 5 shots. And then you go from 90 to 85. That's simple. Just with course management. All right, let's go to the next hole. Now we're gonna do approach, okay? So essentially this was a par 4. This was a par 4. Doesn't matter, let's say 360 meters. And now we're just gonna do approach game. So I'm gonna show you a little bit more visual on the green. So essentially we got a green like this, then goes like this. So this is essentially a green, and we came from, so this is a fairway right here, okay? And we are standing, let's say, right here. So this is the green, and then the pin position is, let's do something. Let's do a break. So we got, so boom. So this just shows that, you know, the green is breaking down. And then on the left side, we got the green breaking down as well. And then this right here is kind of flat. So the green is kind of sloping down. So we got a one position right here, one position right here. So if the flag is right here, okay, boom, right? This is pin position. So essentially, if you had, you know, pin positions, it would essentially say for right, and then let's say from here to here we got like 20 meters, right? So we go 20 front, right? 4 right, 20 front. Now you know the pin position is 20 from front and 4 from the right, which means we have 4 meters from here to here, right? This is 4 meters. So we know if we go right, essentially, you know, you're gonna miss and you have a bad chip. And then right here, just a normal semi-rough, right? Semi, oh my Jesus. Sorry. So, you know, right here, all of this is semi-rough, okay? Semi-rough. All right, good. Now we're essentially, this is where we are going to be playing, or you know what? Let's do something better. We're gonna keep this. So we play from, so this is the ball where we're playing, okay? Sorry for the confusion. So from here to here, we got essentially 90 meters, okay? Which is a small pitch. Now, all right, and we're gonna do one more thing, and we got bunker. So we got bunker, right? This is bunker, okay? So essentially, if the ball here would stop, we would be in the bunker. So just so you know a little bit more, we're gonna do this break like this, okay? So now we know that this is kind of break that goes down, and then if we essentially go down here, the ball is going to be in the bunker. So this is kind of a rough terrain just for you to understand. So we're playing for here. We got 90 meters, okay? Now, if you're somebody who doesn't know course management, you would go directly towards the flag. You wouldn't even look how much is from the break to the flag. So from the break to the flag is essentially 3 meters, which means if we put the ball 3 meters short, it's going to end up in here, and you might make 2 or 3 putts from there, right? You already lost a shot. Now, as a professional would say, okay, so we got 20 meters from the front, okay, good, which means the flag is in the back. We got 4 meters from the right, okay, and then we got like 7 meters in the back, right? Let's say we got 8 meters in this case, so it's going to be a little bit easier. So we got 8 meters from the back, right? Now you know, okay, so we cannot be sure. Now, let's say I hit my 56, I hit exactly 90 meters, okay? And there's a 2 meter upslope, all right? And there's 2 meters up slope. Now, normal beginner wouldn't even calculate the 2 meters in. So they would say, okay, it's 90 meters, and they would take gap sandwich. What they would do, they would hit the ball as much as they can, the ball would spun, and you would effectively end up in bunker or here. Or somebody would just go towards the hole, and then you would push the ball, and you would be, you know, you would be right here, and then you essentially have a really fucking tough chip because you don't have much green, and you could essentially end up in here, and you make, you know, 4 shots from here. But as a professional, how you would say, okay, so I hit my 56, 90 meters, which means if I hit it good, I'm essentially going to be onto the flag, right? We know we got 4 meters from the right, which means I don't want to be right. I want to avoid right side. I want to avoid this break, and I want to avoid bunker. But from the left, we got like 10 meters, which means I have more space on the left and the back, which means, okay, so if I hit my 56, 90 meters, and I hit my 52, which is a gap wedge, and I hit my 100 meters, you would say, okay, so we got 2 meters upslope, which means I have to hit ball 92 meters to be by the flag. If I hit the ball, so we got -3, if I hit the ball 89 meters, I'm gonna be below. And guess what happens? If you hit a 56 9 meters, you most likely end up in here. And if you don't hit a good shot, well, you are down there, right? So professional would say, okay, I'm gonna hit my 52, and even if I hit it good, I essentially gonna have 100 meters towards the end of the thing. So so professional would take a gap wedge, and they would hit like 95%. And even if they missed the ball a little bit, they would still be on the top of the on the top of the on the top of the slope, and they would have an easy to putt, right? So they would avoid the right side where there's not much space. They would go on the left side, and they would be aiming. They wouldn't be aiming, because beginner would be aiming directly towards the flag, but professional would be aiming 3 meters left. Well, it depends. If you're 90 meters, you're essentially going to be like 2 meters left. If you would be 160 meters, you would go like 4 meters left. So it depends how close you are. The closer you are, the more accurate you go. But essentially, they would be aiming probably around, this is where I would be aiming, right here. So if I pull the ball, I still have 5 meters. If I push the ball, I have like 8 meters, right? So this would be kind of the zone, and this is how you would play on the right flag. Now, we're standing here, and we got the pin position on the left side. So we got the pin position, let's say, right here, right? This is the pin position. This is the pin position right here. And then from here, we essentially have 85 meters, okay? 80, sorry. So we got 85 meters towards the flag, right? So now pin position is currently sitting at, let's say, 4 left, and so from here, this is kind of where the front is measured. We got 21 front. Okay, so the flag is in the back, right? Now, there's a slope here, but we got a little bit more space in front. Now here, you would know there's a bunker right here. This is a bunker, okay? So what would be your first thought? Let me know down in the comments, and then see if you actually made it right. In this case, a beginner would just say, okay, the flag is in front, I'm just gonna go straight for the flag, right? They take sand wedge, boom, they hit it over the green, and then they got a slope, they don't have much space, they hit the ball, they go here, and it's the second shot right here, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot. And from a really good approach, they go down with like a double or triple. Now, if you have a good course management, you would say like this. Okay, we got bunker in the bag, we got pin in the bag, which means we don't want to be long, right? We don't want to be long. So we have to avoid being long at all costs. We know that we hit 56 right here, 9 meters. And we hit 60, we hit 80 meters, okay? 60 is a lob wedge. And we hit 60, 80 meters. We know the greens don't spin. Good. Now, from the left side, we know we got 4 meters right here. And then if you have a birdie book, if you're either professional, essentially you see that there's like a little bit more opening in the right. So you got like 7 meters on the right. And in the bag, you got like 4 meters as well. Or 3 meters, whatever, doesn't matter. Now from here to here, we got like 14 meters, okay? Which is, quite spacious. Now for professional, you would say, okay, so the flag is in the bag, we get bunker in the back, we don't want to be in the bunker. If we're in the bunker, we're gonna have much problems because we're not gonna have much green to actually play with. So in this case, we will essentially say, okay, so if I hit my 56, we know there's 2 meters upslope, so it's 87. So if we hit 87, we're essentially gonna make a hole in one, and if we had the right distance. But that can quickly, I can quickly go over, I can quickly hit 4 meters longer, and I'm going to be in the bunker. So I say, okay, if I hit my lob wedge, and I hit my lob wedge 80 meters, right? Where's 80 meters going to take me? So 80 meters, essentially we get 87 minus 7 is going to take me right around the mid zone. and you got the most space right there. If you miss it, you're still gonna be on the green. If you hit it really good, you're still gonna be up here. You miss it, you're gonna be here. You pull it, you're gonna be here. You push it, you're gonna be here. There's nowhere you can miss. And this is where course management comes in play. So essentially, effectively, you would hit a lob wedge, and you would say, okay, I want to be a little bit short, so I want to be 3 meters, 4 meters shorter, and essentially be, from 87. Okay, if I hit my lob wedge a little bit stronger, I can go to maybe 82 meters, which means the 82 is the approach that we want to hit. So you hit a lob wedge, you go in the middle, you make 1 or 2 putts, you make a par, and the beginner makes a triple, and this is how you can essentially go from. Now, if the flag was essentially in the middle, right here, right, this would be straightforward. You got, sorry. So we got, let's say 70, 65, yeah, like 70 meters, and it's in the middle. You could essentially just go straight for the flag because there's no arrows right here, no arrows right here, no arrows right here, no arrows right here. So you got a big space so you can essentially attack the flag. Yeah, now we're gonna go to a par 5 with a little bit of out of bounds and stuff, and try to keep this in consideration when we go into the next hole. And we're gonna try to play as a chess from start to beginning. So let's go. So this par 5 is on my home course. It's the second core. It's the second hole on the course. So we got one bunker right here. Okay, so we got the bunker right here. We got one bunker right here. We got one bunker right here, and we got one bunker right here. Okay, now we got out of bounds. We got 2 out of bounds. One out of bound is right here. It goes like this. So this is OB, and on the left we got another one which goes like somewhere into right here. So this is OB. Now from here we got water from here all the way, towards there. Okay, so this is bam, this is how it goes. So we got water all the way back here. So this is H2O, and all of this on the right, so this is a tree line. So there's trees, right? So if you go down, like, the ball is practically lost, but this is water. We got OB on the left, which is another hole, and we got OB on the right. Now sorry, this right here, it's big rough. So the rough usually, not always, but usually in the middle of season, there's big rough right here. So as we said before, we want to avoid. So again, let's go back. Avoid. Want to avoid water. We want to avoid OB. We want to avoid bunkers, and we want to avoid big rough. Okay, these are the things we want to avoid. So when you first go on the hole, right, you say, okay, what do we want to avoid? Well, we want to avoid OB, right? First thing is OB. We don't want to be OB. So from the blacks where I play, essentially to this thing right here, so this right here to here, it's around 260 meters. Okay, now to the end of this one, it's around 220 meters, and then to this one, it's around 200 and what, 45, 50, right? Now to the water right here, we have around 280, I would say. Okay, so we know my driver goes to 70 to 80 carry, right? My 2-iron goes to 230. Okay, good. The hole is pretty long, so essentially you cannot go right here because you got OB. Now the fairway, it's quite big. We got like, what is it, 40 meters, I would say. So it's quite big. You got a big opening, and right here the OB kind of goes, sorry, I have to be a little bit more precise. So essentially the OB kind of ends here and then goes like this, OB. So it ends at like a bunker and then it kind of moves right. And then right here we got rough. Okay, so this is rough and this is rough. So we got rough on the right, rough on the left. We got OB, OB, water. Now, from beginner's perspective, what they would do, they would go straight and they would just hit the driver. It's gonna go left, it's gonna go right. I don't give a fuck, right? Well, that's a wrong idea. You have to know your tendencies. So if you know your tendencies, so let's say you're an amateur and your tendencies are hook, hook, pull, right? So you know these are your tendencies. You don't want to be aiming left. You want to be aiming right, okay? This is just a small precaution. You know you might gonna get into the bunker, but okay, as a beginner, that's fine. All right, so you want to be aiming somewhere around here, okay? If I hit a hook, if you never hit a push or a pull or push or a fade, but essentially if you know eternity, you're gonna be aiming a little bit right, and you will have to trust. So you will be aiming a little bit right, so you can hit the ball right in the middle. Now, wait, we know it. Now we know the pin position is, let's say, right here, right? Nothing. It's an easy pin position, so at least you know where you're gonna go with second. So you know the pin position is 6 front and then 7 right. Okay, so pin position is okay, right? We most likely want to be more on the left side than on the right side because we're gonna have a little bit of better angle to the green. So essentially here, as a professional, I would say, okay, so if I hit my 2-iron 230, right, I could essentially go over the bunker, which is a perfect position right in the middle, right? This would be a perfect position I don't want to ride. So this between the bunkers would be a perfect position, right? Actually, that's not bad, right? So 2-iron is actually really nice play. There's more space here on the right for the bunker. It's like more on the left side. But essentially 2-iron would be a great play, right? So if you just think, right, we don't want to be in OB, well, we don't want to be bunker, so the safe zone would be kind of in the middle. So it's like, okay, 2-iron is actually a really good idea. And then from here to here, right, and then we got rough. All of this right here is rough again. And now from here you have a par 5. Essentially, if you hit a 2-iron, you're gonna play a 3-shotter, right? You're not gonna play 2-shotter. So essentially, if you would be, if you couldn't carry the bunker, you say you would play 2-iron right here. So this would be first shot, and then you would take like a 6-iron. You say, okay, the flag is there, so we don't want to be in H2O, so we want to be aiming a little bit left. The OB actually ends where you actually hit here. And the rough is playable. We're not gonna get towards the bunker, so you could essentially hit here, and you got a really nice position towards the hole. What could we do better? Let me know. What could we do better? You know how my driver goes, right? So we got 280 to the back. We got 260 to carry. What does that mean? I could hit the ball further, right? But what comes in play? So if I hit my driver, the OB on the left comes in play, and the water on the right comes in play. But with my 2-iron, if I hit my 2-iron bad, I'm gonna be in the bunker, which means I can very easily make something bad from there. If I hit my 2-iron a little bit left, I'm gonna be rough. I'm gonna have a long way towards the green. But if I push it, I can be out of bounds. But with the driver, this out of bounds is not in play anymore. So we get rid of one out of bounds. So actually for 2-iron, all we cannot get is we cannot get into the H2O over there. But with driver, we get lost of one OB. And what's better? What are the OB? Of course, OB is worse, right? So we want to get rid of OB. So if I hit my driver, even if I push it, I'm gonna be right here. I'm not gonna be in the OB. So if I hit my driver, I could essentially say, okay, and there's a little bit more opening right here than here. If I hit my driver to 70, right? And normally you don't hit, you don't hit to 60, to 55, whatever it is, you hit over. So if I hit my driver, if I pull the ball, well, I might be in OB, right? So in this case, I'd rather be in H2O, and in this H2O, I can essentially hit the ball here, go up and make an up and down, still have a par. But if I hit my 2-iron into OB on the right, well, 1, penalty 2, we got 3 in the bunker or 3 here, and then you're already a few shots behind. So essentially driver in here could be a better place. So in winter time where the ball doesn't roll as much, this right here, the driver would be a much better play. But of course, you must know your tendencies. If you're at the end, for me, the driver here would be a much better, because if I hit the driver a little bit pulley left, I can go with the second one on the green, okay? But as I said, when you do course management, you must know your tendencies, right? So really get the tendencies down. If you have hooks or pulls or fades or pushes, you must know, because if you play hooks, right, you can aim right and you can be in the middle, right? You don't want to be aiming straight, because if you have hooks, you aim straight, you're going to be out of bounds, okay? If you got fades and you got pushes, in this case, you got an opening right here, which means if I hit an enough club, even if I push the ball, I get, away from an OB. So an iron would be a really bad play here. So really get your tendencies down so you actually know how to play, the rest of the course management. But this is just kind of, a quick example of, what things you want to avoid, how you should look at the hole. And I understand, if you're an amateur, if you're somebody who doesn't play the golf very well, you have to keep it simple, okay? This is just a professional aspect of how we would play. And I'm gonna give you another par 4, and we're gonna go through a beginner's stampede on if you miss a lot of shots, and how you would actually play the hole. So let's go there. I wanted to show you this to a little bit more of a technical aspect of it, because so you actually understand like the whole of how we actually think of the course management, because there's not a lot of professionals talking about course management, so you guys don't really understand if you don't play as much. So we're gonna go to a simple hole and we're gonna break it down a little bit easier for you, just a simple aspects of somebody who doesn't play golf as much. So let's go par 4. Let's go 360 meters, and we're gonna be playing from yellow tees. So yeah, we're not gonna be playing for the blacks. So right here, we're gonna be playing from yellow tees, and then we got red tees, right? And we got the blacks right here, of course. So we're playing from here. Now, the hole is gonna go, it's gonna be very simple. It's gonna go straight, opening, bam, right? So straight, opening, bam, okay? Now we got a quick little whatever this is, we got this right here. So this is a slope where it goes down, and the pin position is going to be on top of here, okay? Boom. So this is the pin position. Now we still have to do something, so we're gonna do an OB. So all of this towards here is going to be OB. On the left side, we're gonna have a bunker right here, okay? So this is going to be a bunker, and on the left side, essentially, this right here is going to be a semi-rough, okay? So we're gonna do, so this is going to be semi-rough, okay? So this is going to be a semi-rough. All of this is semi-rough. Very simple hole. Now, let's say you hit the driver 220 meters, okay? And then you got hybrid, which you hit 180 meters, and then you got like a 4-iron, you hit like 160 or whatever, just for the clearance. Now, we said before, if you go on this hole, right, you don't want to just hit drivers. Okay, let's say your tendencies, sometimes you hit a hook, sometimes you hit a push, but most likely you hit a push, okay? In this case, you most likely push, okay? But you can still hit a pull, you can still hit a hook, because you're not that good, okay? But most likely you got pushes, right? You get afraid, you block the club, and it goes right. So when you go on this kind of hole, you would say, okay, as a beginner, we don't want to overcomplicate. We got OB on the right. We said we want to avoid OB, water, and the penalties at all costs. So in this case, we don't want to be aiming straight, because if you aim straight and you push the ball, you got a penalty, okay? So I want you to go in the comments and tell me how you would play this game, so I can see if you actually learned something. So yeah, do that. So essentially, as I said, you play straight from here, and then if you would push the ball, essentially, because we know the most likely you're gonna hit a push, well, you got a penalty, right? You're already 2 shots behind. Now, if you just think a little bit, okay, and you take 1 minute, you say, okay, there's OB on the right. We don't want to be on the right, all right? This is an X. We don't want to be here at all costs. We know there's a semi-rough on the left, which means it's not a big deal. I can still play from there, okay? You got a scope. You measure, firstly, you measure the front of the bunker. So you know the front of the bunker is 270 meters, okay? So you know that even if you hit the best shot, you're not going to be in the bunker. Great. We got this done. The bunker is out of the way. So we got only one problem, which is the OB. And we don't want to be in the OB, okay? We don't, here's a bridge. I just wanted to draw a bridge. Doesn't matter. So we know we don't want to be in OB. Now, from here to here, we got, let's say, we got 20 meters right here. And then from here to here, we got 30 meters. So you now know that if you hit an iron, you're going to have a lower, because many beginners, then they get afraid of driving, they just start hitting iron. So in this case, if you hit an iron, 160, you would have a really long way towards the green. And if you hit an iron, let's say you hit 5 iron, right? You're afraid of everything, you hit a 5 iron, okay? You hit a 5 iron and you go exactly right here, okay? So this would essentially be your 5 iron, okay? 5 iron. Now, if you play 5 iron, you essentially have the lowest, the most narrow fairway part. You have a long way with the second shot, which you got OB in play and you got a bunker in play with the second one, right? So you're already in a disadvantage, okay? If you miss a ball, that's a different story. But let's say you hit a ball good, okay? So you hit 5 iron 150 meters, right? You hit 150 meters 5 iron. And to the hole you have 360, which means you still have 210 meters towards the flag. And you cannot get there with the second shot, right? And now you know the bunker right here is 300 meters, which means 60 meters in front of the tank. So then you say, okay, if I hit my 5 iron a little bit low, you hit it 140, then you got 220 meters to the flag. And then you want to hit a hybrid. You got OB on the right and you got bunker on the left. And then you already positioned yourself to another penalty area on the left and another penalty area on the right. And now from here, you know the pin position is on the left, which means if I'm in the bunker right here, it's going to be impossible to play the ball towards there, right? So it's going to be a really hard hole for you. Now, if you hit a driver, you hit the driver to 20, which means you would essentially go into a little bit more open area right here. So this would be a driver. Hit 220, it goes to 30 meters. So you already have a bigger chance to hit a fairway, okay? And of course, if you hit the driver to 20, it means you have 140 to the flag, which is your 6 iron, okay? So if you play 6 iron towards the green and you don't have OB and you don't have bunker in the way, it's going to be much easier for you, right? So you hit a driver there and, let's say, because you're hitting right, you're aiming around here, so you're aiming in the semi-rough, so you got like 40 meters towards the right, so it's practically impossible to hit it in the OB. So you hit the ball, you fade it, right, you're in the middle, right? You want to be aiming left because you gotta push, okay? Good, we got this done. We got 220. So now we know the pin position is on the left, okay? Now in this case, you would say, okay, now with my driver, I only have 140 to the flag. And right here, you would say, okay, we got rough on the right, here we got like 10 meters. So there's enough space. Now, in this case, you would probably go towards the flag and hit it, and where it goes, right? Doesn't matter. But you effectively, because you hit a driver, you effectively change the trajectory of your second shot. You got a shorter shot towards the hole, which means you have 140 to the flag, which is much easier than 210. And on top of that, you get rid of bunker and you get rid of OB, because OB stops 30, 25, 30 meters before the hole, right? Which means even if you miss the ball if you push the ball, you're going to be right here, so you're not going to be in OB. So you effectively firstly, you effectively changed and you were aiming left because you didn't want to be OB. Perfect. Simple, right? Even if you pull the ball, let's say in scenario you pull the ball and you're right here, you're still in semi-rough, right? And then from semi-rough to here, to 300 meters to end of the bunker left, you got what? So we said 220, 300, so you got 80 meters, right? So you can essentially hit the ball 120, 130. You can go for the flag. You pull the ball, you're right. You push the ball, you're right. So you effectively change with the driver that you play. The next shot is going to be much, much easier. So in this case, you would hit driver, and then essentially you would, go towards the green and then try to play, how you actually do, right? So this is how you actually go towards a hole and actually do a simple and easy course management. It's not as hard as you think. You just have to avoid OBs, waters, big roughs, bunkers. I know sometimes you hook the ball, you push the ball, we all do. But just getting into a state where even if you miss a shot, you can still be in play. And that's where you actually need to come from. And you're gonna be more, if you know that you're aiming 40 meters left from OB, you're gonna hit a better shot because you're gonna be more confident, right? So good course management can complement your game as well. So if you would be standing 10 meters left from OB, you would be fucking trembling and you would hit a push into the out of bounds. If you're aiming 40 meters left, you would probably be very calm and you would hit the ball really good, right? So this is how you need to approach the course management. Look, hopefully this actually helped. If you got any more questions, please let me know. I want to see how you guys actually approach this and if this was actually any helpful. But yeah, if you're a golfer who loves to play on the course and don't even practice, maybe this is the reason why you're not improving. So check this video out and maybe your mind will be changed. Thank you very much and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.